Evolving with the cosmos. The cosmos is full beyond measure of elegant truths, of exquisite interrelationships, of the awesome machinery of nature. The surface of the earth is the shore of the cosmic ocean. On this shore, we've learned most of what we know. Recently, we've waded a little way out, maybe ankle deep, and the water seems inviting. Some part of our being knows that this is where we came from. We long to return, and we can, because the cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. Carl Sagan.
Thank you so much, Jade. Well, everyone, I'm so excited to welcome everybody for two reasons. First of all, this is a conversation circle that we started back near the very beginning of the pandemic called Gems from the Wisdom Traditions. And today, for the very first time, we're doing a slight morph of it so that it's now Gems from the Movement Traditions. And not only is that the case, we have a really, really special presenter, and her name is Debbie Rosas. I think that most of you know quite a bit about her, and I'm nevertheless going to let you know she is a huge mentor of mine and has been ever since my first NIA white belt training that happened in 2003. She is someone who together with Carlos Rosas, started the first fusion fitness format back in 1982 and 83. She really broke from all the normal ways that people did fitness. And I think she did this with a certain higher carelessness. She knew that she was breaking all the norms, and she saw something better and different. And so our topic of higher carelessness today that we're taking up, I think each person is going to come to their own understanding of what this phrase might mean, higher carelessness. To me, I think it has something to do with not sweating the small stuff. I think it has something to do with, in terms of being a teacher, it's not what we teach, it's how we teach it. In terms of being a mover, it's not how we're moving, what particular movement practice we're doing, it's how we are doing that practice. And so this higher carelessness to me seems to have to do with caring at a much higher, deeper level than at the little mini details of like getting it right, for example. So I want to, before I ask, we're going to do this in a kind of a interview style at the beginning. And so before we open up to a conversation, I wanted to let you know that when I went to my first white belt NIA teacher training in 2003, I was expecting to learn those NIA routines that I was going to class and taking with the teacher. And when I got there, I didn't learn how to teach a single routine. But what I did learn was the basic principles underneath NIA. That's what they really wanted me to take away from it. I could go on to the, looking at their training videos and seeing how to do the steps of the particular routines anytime. But I was there to learn something deeper, and those were the deeper principles of NIA. So I wanted to ask Debbie, as my first question to you, what gives you the confidence and that higher carelessness to train us in NIA in that way?
Beautiful question. Well, thank you for inviting me into this wonderful circle. But before I answer that question, I got to tell you, when I saw the words higher carelessness, I went, did she make a typo? Did she mean higher consciousness? And so I looked up, higher carelessness, and I went, oh, certainly she made a typo. There's nothing reckless about what she does or about what we do. But I realized that you were looking at it in a beautiful poetic way. So when I hear the word higher carelessness, I think from what you're interpreting, I'm talking about a very high sacred freedom, a
Yes.
willingness to let go of rigid control and trust in the wisdom of the body. So, in many ways, I guess you could say that's my answer to your question. I was in higher carelessness and I didn't even know it. You know, teaching people about body intelligence is really an opportunity for people to get to know themselves. And Nia always say, know thyself. And I like to think when people come, even coming to learn the principles, and I experienced this through my training in martial arts. Yes, I learned about Taekwondo and Tai Chi, Aikido, yes, but I learned about myself more than anything. About what does it mean to quit or to give up? What does it mean to stay? What does it mean to let go of habits? So many, many things. But I think you're not alone, Renee. I think most people, when they come to a white belt training where their experience with Nia has been through the class, through the dance, they're expecting that. They're going to expect they're going to learn that. But from the very beginning, I knew that I didn't want to create something that was about copying. And I wanted to create a system for people to learn about the body, learn about themselves at the same time, and to really awaken to the intelligence of the human body. Now, when I think about gems, right, I don't think there is any greater gem in the world that's not a diamond or a jewel. Nope, you don't wear it on your finger, it's your body. That's the greatest gem in the world to me. It has such extraordinary intelligence and light. It's sensory, it's adaptable, compassionate, wise, and this is what we get to live in. This is what we get to accompany through life. And I think this, I'm going to call it positive recklessness. It was really that I didn't know any better. I was so excited and so curious about the body and about sensation and the intelligence of the body that I was so focused on listening to sensation and so focused on watching how people adapted anything in Nia to fit their body's way that I developed a deep level of compassion for what it means to learn something, to learn anything. And how could I possibly look at the design of the human body and think that the answer to training people was to make sure they all do it the same way? All I had to do was look at the human body to realize that the body itself was saying, same but different every time. So, yes, I wanted teachers to understand the principles so that they could use this something meaningful to guide movement, to learn the moves themselves. But it was really more about awakening people to the wisdom and the teacher that's already living inside every single person. And that's why I let teachers learn the routines from videos. I didn't test them to perfect anything because I really believed and still believe that life is a sacred sport and that everybody develops their athleticism and their love of the sport of living in the body in their own way and in their own time. White belt's just simply a doorway in. Um, let's do something. I'm going to ask everybody right now just to take your shoes off. If you got your shoes on, take them off. And I'm going to ask you, once you get your shoes off, just direct your attention to your feet. You can stand, you could put your feet in the air, it doesn't matter. And take a moment to simply become aware, oh my gosh, my feet. And just notice. Maybe you notice temperature. Maybe you notice weight pressing down on the feet. Maybe you notice you can wiggle your toes. Maybe temperature. This is sensation that you're noticing. This comes from you in your body. And this is where Nia begins. In the body. Listening to body messages, messages that are shared through the voice of the body, which is sensation. Now, specifically, we pay attention to pain and pleasure signals. So learning to listen to sensation from any part of the body, every part of the body has a sensation you can access. This is when the body becomes the best teacher. And if that body and that teaching does not become the foundation of movement, then I don't care how good the choreography is, it will not be conveyed through the body. It will not be conveyed as a somatic practice. And Nia is of the body and from the body. And, I think that when it comes to higher carelessness, I love that term now, that it never felt careless. I think it was a blessing in that I had no idea what could go wrong. I was just so excited. And I had this deep level of trust. And I think that trust came from trusting my body, beginning to listen to my body. So I started to trust people, trust in my body. So it's sort of like there was trust in my body, trust in people, oh my gosh, trust in life. And over the years, my confidence has continued to build from my own experiences. And again, that's that beautiful, thank you, martial arts training. You can know something up here. You can even wish for it in your heart, but it's only once you're on the mat and okay, now let's show me that you've embodied it, that you've taken it and you've brought that into embodied wisdom. And time, how much time it takes for everybody is different. And so I knew that this natural learning process, this natural time to arrive to what we call loose but tight. Okay, I have enough information with this piece of choreography that I think I can go in and I can help somebody else. And, as a child that struggled, well, I still have it with dyslexia, very dyslexic. And I had speaking challenges with a really severe lisp. Traditional learning didn't work for me, and that's been a gift. So now, in anything that I present, whether it's learning choreography or the white belt, making sure that the information is shared visually through language, through symbology, through phrasing, through sensation is important so that the doorway into understanding is open to all kinds of diversity. We talk about neurodiversity. All you have to do is look around the planet. Diversity is the body's way, it's nature's way, it's life's way, same but different. And the doorway in to understanding comes from everyone's body, whether they are an audio learner, they learn more through sensation or through sight or through language, there's a way in. And when you add movement and you add imagination and you add music, you are lighting up that brain like crazy. And you're also tapping into something that the body already knows. It knows how to sense. It knows how to listen. And matter of fact, its job, it knows, is to guide us towards balance, health, fitness, vitality. That's its job. So no matter how out of balance we get, no matter how abusive we might get, it will always do its best to pull us back. Is there a point when it will give up? Probably. So, going back to learning routines, Renee, and you thought you were going to come learn routines, I intuitively knew that controlling people with rigid rules does not work. But giving people the room and the space to trust their own body and discover the intelligence in their body and to discover how they learn, that is the way. Did that trust in people work perfectly? Absolutely not. No. I have been burned several times. It happens still. But those experiences helped me become a stronger leader, a better leader, more confident, because I get a moment of pause to go, is there something in that for me? Is that true? And I get to self reflect, and that is important as a leader. Know thyself isn't something that you arrive to and that's it, you've got it, particularly when it comes to living in a body where the one constant is change, where the one thing we can count on is evolution, evolve, like you talked about. So back to my trust in people and trust in the body, I discovered that most people, when they learn to follow comfort and pleasure and they learn to be led from their heart, which is the assemblage point that human beings are supposed to connect, they rise to that trust. And the people that don't, they're just not ready to rise to that trust, and they're still on a path, and they'll get there in their own way and in their own time. And this is really what I wanted NIA teachers to have to, as you say, to evolve themselves. Long-winded question and answer, but I can't hear you now.
Yeah. How about now?
Yeah.
There's, you've been referring to the body's way. And it's something that has meant so much to me over the years. And could I read the 5 principles of the body's way for everyone?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So there's 5 principles of the body's way. One is the body thrives on dynamic ease. The body demands balance. The body is in balance in yin and yang. The body's way demands simultaneous mobility and stability. And 5, the body itself reveals the body's way. And I'm happy to put those in the chat. And so I've noticed that while you're teaching NIA to us as your students, I'm not talking necessarily about those of us learning to be teachers, but just as those of us as students, it doesn't seem to me that you really care very much about how we look doing NIA. I don't feel any pressure to conform, to make myself look like the way you're moving exactly, or even like the best person in the class is moving. But I feel comfortable to kind of move my body's way. And so do you want to talk about that a little bit in regard to this idea of higher carelessness?
You know, it reminds me of why the body's way is so important and what is really when the body gets his way, what happens, right? The first principle in NIA is called the joy of movement. And that's what happens when the body is allowed to have its way with us. Whether it's a laughter or it's just grabbing your chest, when the body has its way, when it's reflexively responsive, when it feels safe to express itself, what we see is not a look, not a size, not a shape, but life force sensation animating a body. And it's beyond personal joy. It is a pleasure. It's a deeper joy that I call universal joy. You can call it cosmic joy if you want. And it's something sacred. It's the right of a human body to move and to express itself. It's the thing that connects us, thank you, Carl Sagan, to each other, to the earth, the stars, the universe, life itself. It's a thing when you look up and you get this sense of awe, this sense of magic, that we literally light up like a light bulb. And that first principle, the joy of movement, is something I took as a responsibility to never, ever snuff out or diminish in any human being. Therefore, when people move, and they can move and they don't feel judged, they don't have to move in a right way, what happens? Well, science proves that what happens is our nervous system relaxes. And our nervous system being relaxed is one of the most important things for our health and well-being, particularly nowadays. Our mind stops judging, and our body begins to explore, just like it did when we first began to explore rolling over or nourishing ourselves, creeping, crawling, exploring the world through our body. Whether we're on the dance floor or we're in life, instead of asking, am I doing this right? Do I look good? We can ask, what do I sense? What do I feel? Do I sense aliveness? Do I sense safety, belonging, dignity? Those are meaningful and important things. Universal sacred joy frees us from that false idea of perfection that you mentioned, Renee. You know, that, oh, Debbie doesn't care about how we look. No, what I care about is you moving in comfort. I care about what I see on your face. A sense of joy, a sense of freedom. And freedom allows us and our movement to be authentic, whole, creative, and it awakens us to that beautiful gift of being curious that gets snuffed out, unfortunately, when people start thinking. They start going to school, learning how to do things right. And learning how to do things right and following something outside of you, saying, oh, that's how I'm supposed to look, that diminishes that sensation of being alive. Aliveness is a quality that we each recognize as individuals. And, you know, when you, that phrase that I love now, higher carelessness, it is a freedom from fear. it is a freedom from rigid control. And it's a freedom to move like a living human being in only the way that you can in your body. So do this with me for a moment. Lift your shoulders up and just drop them. Okay, now just wave your hands at me vigorously. Just wave. Okay, now, how about give me a little shake? Shake, shake, shake. Make a little noise when you wiggle as well. All right? Now, just notice what happens when you go, oh my gosh, I was moving freely. I didn't have to move in a right way. I don't even know if I looked good, but I wasn't even caring about it. I'll bet you the joy showed up, that sensation of joy, an increase of vitality and feeling aliveness because you gave your body permission to just move. Thank you, Nike. And also just play. Yeah. I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Would you like to lead us in a little more movement before we start a more roundtable conversation?
I absolutely would love to.
Let's do it.
This is just a movement exploration of that beautiful gift of the human body that I love. I'm going to have this music on in the background. It's very subtle. Can you hear my voice over the music? Yep. Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to ask you, you're welcome to sit, stand, lie down. I want you to smell the moment and sip the air. We don't want to suck, we just want to sip it. Now, arrive here and now and let your body settle wherever you are. There's nothing to achieve, nothing to perfect. Only sensing and listening. Breath, sensing the tides of life. Sense your breath moving like the tide of an ocean, in and out. Breath is the body remembering how to live. If your breath feels shallow, tight, or maybe uncertain, just let a soft sound, ride on your exhale. Sound is a bridge. Sound is a way for the body to adapt, to heal, to soften, and to let breath move you. Now pause. And through sight, sense light. Allow your eyes to look and to receive the world around you, the space that you're in. No staring, just receiving the colors and the shapes. And let the images come to you. Sense your head floating and slightly turning because your eyes are curious. The eyes travel with curiosity. They notice light, shadows, colors. If your eyes feel dry or tired or blurred, just let your head move gently like a sunflower following the light. Movement restores sight. The 6 muscles of the eyes say thank you for moving me. And now through touch, sense the physical world. Using your hands, touch your face, your head, your skin. The skin is your living boundary with the world. You can touch your arms, face. You can even touch and sense the air around you. Touch can be physical, imagined, energetic. Our body remembers through touch that we are connected. We are never separate. We are never alone. And now begin to move the tongue in your mouth, sensing the taste of now. Move your tongue softly. And just become aware of the taste of this moment. You might even swallow saliva. And now smell the air. Taste and smell are companions. Smell, sensing the aroma of now. Your breath travels through your nose into you. Do you notice a scent? Now, if you're moving, let your body movement change its speed. Maybe a little quicker. And now sensing sound and silence here, and just listen for a moment to the sound and the silence. Notice faraway sounds, closer sounds, the sound of your breath. Now move your head slowly with your eyes, as if listening now with your whole body, with your real ears and every cell, all 50 trillion cells in your body. Sound, silence, sensation, they're partners. They guide balance. Now sensing the vibration of your now mode, notice the feeling tone inside your body, the vibration of emotion. There's no right, there's no wrong. Emotion is medicine when it moves. And now notice any thought as they pass through the mind. Sense, perception, thinking. Like clouds, let your thoughts move. We don't need to hold them. The body learns through time, through reflection, through choice, curiosity. So let your thinking soften into sensing. And now wherever you are, let your body begin to sense stimulation through movement. Small movement of a wrist or fingers, slow movements, curious movements, or a stretch, a yawn, an opening, a closing, a spiral, a palm up and a palm down, tickling the space with your fingers. The body in space is a living conversation. It is a movement between layers, tissues, bones, joints, muscles, organs, organ systems, and nerves, and imagination. Now, using your imagination and mind's eye, sense integration, the connective tissue. Imagine throughout your body a soft webbing connecting everything to everything. As you reach and as you move, as you stretch, you're slowly moving these silky threads. They provide a sense of continuity. They connect parts. This is the living fabric that connects you to the cosmos. As you sense action and relaxation, open your palms and close them, awakening the muscles, a contraction, a squeeze, a release, a letting go, an action, a rest. Strength does not live in tension. It lives in the dance between the action and ease. And now sense your bones, alignment, the quiet skeletal architecture. The skeleton stacked like stones in a river, your head floating, your spine lengthening up and down, your pelvis a bowl, a sacred bowl, a seat, and your joints. Become curious about your ankle joints. Move your feet, your knees, bend, extend your hips, circle, roll, your shoulders, your wrist. Joints are doorways into freedom. And let's return to those beautiful feet that I asked you to take your shoes off, the hands that touch the earth. The body's first conversation with the earth in vertical alignment of walking. Where gravity meets the body. The ground supports, the feet touch, and every body has a story of walking upright. Your spine, like a river of movement, is not rigid. It loves creativity. Your wings, your shoulders and arms, they're meant to remember their flight, that they can reach, gather, offer, receive. And inside your body, you can trust that vast network is listening, your nervous system sensing sensation. Your nerves whisper, and they transmit information everywhere. Whether it's temperature, pressure, movement, this inner teacher, this guide, will not force, but will guide. The pulse of life force moves through you, through your chest, every layer, every cell. Nourishment is more than food. It is self-care. It is love. It is gut instinct. So place your hand now on your belly and sense your belly moving with breath. And we return again to that breath, smelling the moment, sipping the air. Every inhale is an inhale of possibility. Every exhale is what is complete. You can trust that deep within your body, intelligence is working. The genius of the body is protecting, preparing, adapting. When we move, we are reminded the body, it is a gift. It is my partner. It is the one I accompany that walks with me through life, birth, life, death, renewal. And now allow any words to arise and say, body, do you have a message for me? And whatever the message is, say it aloud. Communication begins by listening and sensing and believing in the genius. When you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes and let the light enter gently. Take in another beautiful breath, smelling the moment. And notice your now body. Is it calmer, Do you sense a deeper relationship to aliveness and listening? Because all we did was remember how to sense the gift of a body with this quiet intelligence still moving inside of you. Just take a moment and say, thank you, body. And thank you very much for joining me. Journey.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Wow. It may take a minute to land back here in our speaking presence. It might be kind of fun to hear what each of you came out of in terms of what your body's message was. My body's message was, I'm alive. So that might be something you'd like to share. And also you might share any comments or questions that you have on this topic for today that Debbie so beautifully exemplified for us through her conversation of and our experience of the Nia technique of higher carelessness. So, Malia, can I let you lead off for us?
Sure. Aloha, Debbie. So wonderful
Aloha.
to
Good to see you.
be with you in this space. So, the message for me was choice, just that single word, choice. And I'm so glad I have the chance to share with you that one thing that I learned from you in my first white belt, which was with you, I actually carry through to almost every single class. I just mentioned it a couple of days ago, and it's raw, being relaxed, alert, and waiting. And I was wondering if you had anything you wanted to share about that, where it came from. And I just want you to know that I carry that with me and have carried it um, just faithfully and humbly and thankfully all this time. Relaxed, alert, and waiting.
I was taught by one of my fantastic Aikido senseis, Wendy Palmer, who's no longer here, but her books are fabulous, Wendy Palmer. The importance of beginner's mind. And what I've learned in terms of the body's way and the brain is when we give the brain a job, it quiets and it gets very focused and it'll do that. So telling the body what to do is a great way to, in a sense, enter into beginner's mind. I found that when I say to students, let's enter into beginner's mind, you know nothing, you've never done this before, there's like it's not instructional enough. But when I say enter into raw, relaxed body, okay, alert mind, okay, right, and then wait, just wait. Basically, you're in beginner's mind because you're not doing anything. There's no expectation. And from that beginner's mind, raw became a practice in the white belt level for listening to music, to allow the sound to come. As a life practice, raw is the perfect environment to enter into when you enter a room. Before this conversation, I went right into raw, right? So that, and the gift of this is one becomes 100% present. There's no distractions. And that presence is very, very powerful. When I can harness all of my light and all of my life force and all of my attention and be, here's another one you hear all the time, be here now. What does that mean, right? Aren't I here? And so having little techniques, we call them sensation science practices. Raw is one of my favorites. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Marilla.
Beautiful. Maria, just to put you on notice, I'll probably ask you to close with an Oli for us today when we get to the end, because it's something from our host culture here in Hawaii that I think would be a beautiful closure for this first ever of Gems from the Movement traditions. And it's from hula, which is definitely one of the world's movement traditions.
I love the, gems from traditions, gems from movement traditions, and again, what I said, that the best gem of all, right, it is the body. But I would love to know, what is your movement tradition that you do, or do you have one that you do every single day, right? Is there something you do every single day? To give an example, every single day I open my eyes and I say, "Good morning, body. I'm here with you." It's just a movement tradition I do when I open my eyes in the morning.
And along with that, does it give you a certain higher carelessness? Not sweating the small stuff, tuning into something deeper and more important.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to nominate Mom to answer this because I know she prays every day.
Mm.
When I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is I thank God that I am alive, that I have another day to try to get it right.
Mm.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah. I love. First of all, I love being in a community where I can say the word God. I'm always amazed when I go on a conference call and they say, "Now don't mention the word God." Don't, and it's like, oh, really? uh, it's like, don't talk about the sky. I mean, really? Um, but yeah, I mean, talk about a main line into joy and into feeling supported from the inside and out. That's an I call it a soul alignment. Having that soul alignment, I'm very aware, Mary, when I'm out of alignment, because I have such a strong sensation of when I am in soul alignment with God. Yeah.
Mm. Beautiful. Jade or Dishan?
Mahalo for wonderful experience and sharing the wisdom. I think there were a few things wanted to call out. I think the image I received during the practice was the sun as the eye. I'm just putting words to it. You can see it for yourself on how it might look like and appear for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that I do on a daily basis, many different movement practices, but something that I hold dear to me is Qigong. I do every single day, and I do yoga every single day. I also do pranayam. And something I start my day off as is being as a role-less being. Before I step into any of the roles of my life, can I see myself as to not see myself completely?
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
I
See.
think you said roll less, like ROLE, less, without any rolls.
Right. Right.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you.
It's, that beautiful gift of being able to see oneself beyond the identity that we might identify with. What is that behind the mask, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
It's sometimes daunting to be in the presence of somebody as famous as Debbie Rosas. I know that. And I usually used to be speechless, but
I'm just a work in progress. That's what it is. A work in progress.
But with this higher carelessness, we just can't do it wrong. Anything that you might have to share is going to be wonderful and a contribution. So, hey, Sheena.
That's the fun thing about playing with people in the sandbox of learning how to be human. You know, nobody gets it right, right?
Yeah. I think maybe Jade and then Hejina.
Thank you so much, Miss Debbie. Wow, you just have such an incredible presence, and I can also see why Miss Renee just always speaks so joyously about you. You just have that presence that is radiating throughout, and thank you so much for speaking on the universal sacred joy. And when you were speaking, I I just realized that Nia is the vessel that you are radiating out and rippling out. And I love that each of us has these different vessels to radiate out. When you speak about how through Nia and the different practices, it taught you to rise to that trust, I was wondering if you could speak more about that and what that means.
Trust in oneself is one of the greatest relationships that can be developed. It's sort of like self-love. To realize that what we have been given here in this gift of body and the relationship that is available to us to to evolve ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually happens happens in this body. That then, if I was in charge of education system, the first thing would be to teach children to never, ever break from the listening relationship with their body. What does your gut say? I know what you think, but what does your heart say? What does your gut say? So I can, with martial arts, the gift of protecting oneself so I don't get hurt means that I develop a tremendous level of trust in my instinct and also trust in myself to practice so that a technique that I may have to think about becomes embodied so that it becomes a reflex action. So that I can caretake for myself walking down the street, right? So I've learned to trust in practice. I've learned to trust my body's messages, and I've learned to trust my intuition. And that has allowed me to feel very, very safe in my body, confident and safe in almost any situation. Now, are there times when I get knocked down and flattened on the mat? Oh, yeah. And when it happens, it always surprises me. But what surprises me the most is I get flattened because it's so painful to be misunderstood, or it's so painful to have somebody be mean or judgmental or consciously want to hurt. those things are so foreign to me that somebody would want to actually do that mindfully, that's what flattens me more than anything else. The lack of kindness on the planet right now is what kills me more than anything. Yeah.
And still you've retained trust.
I have to.
Yeah.
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 I have to.
Thank you. Hey, Sheena, and then Diana.
Yeah, I feel so honored to be here. Um, I honestly can barely speak. I caught a cold yesterday, and my camera was closed because I was lying down and listening to my sensations, and my body's really asking to help to rest right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I couldn't resist saying hello and saying thank you because Nia for me is food for my soul, really. It's you mentioned education, and I used to work with children and doing children that are in with dyslexia or different spectrum, and the work was sensory integration and doing neurological developmental exercises with them. But they were not aware of that because we created a system where they were playing, and so they were in a circus. In the circus, they were lizards, and they were juggling. They were doing all sorts of things, and so they never knew that the exercises was to help them neurologically.
Right.
It's just for fun. And the beauty of it was that we used to perform, and the creativity that they had was unbelievable because there was no right or wrong. It was just playing. And they came up with choreographies that I don't think I was able to create.
Certainly sounds like a higher carelessness that you
Absolutely.
invoked in.
Love it.
Well, the thing is that when I discovered Nia, I was like, oh my God, my inner child has food forever now. That's how I feel every class. It's like, yeah, it's my chance to be my own child and to be myself and to have my freedom and my joy.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And sorry that I closed the camera. I was literally lying down and
That's okay. Take care of
That's
your body.
good.
Rest. Rest is good.
So I'll call on Diana, and then I think we'll ask Malia to do Oli pretty soon after that. But we'll probably have you do absolutely the very, very last thing. So I'm going to do something between Diana and you, Malia. Okay, Diana.
Debbie, thank you. Being that Megan is very close to me, my daughter-in-law was my daughter-in-law, and I just did all the classes, and so I feel like I know you, although I don't know you. And today's was so powerful, and some of the things that really struck me was the sacred freedom to let go of rigid control and trust the wisdom of the body. And you said, life is a sacred sport, a sport of living in the body in your own way and time. And I was really struck with the freedom of when you said, what do I feel? Safety, aliveness, belonging, and dignity. When I am in my body and in tune to the sensation, whether that be in meditation, when I'm sitting down, or when I'm moving, to really feel that universal sacred joy. And it comes from really trusting that we are safe and loved in the body and that God is with us, in my words. But it's like understanding that surrender and really listening to that. And I really like the idea of the safety, aliveness, belonging, and dignity with everything going on in the world, to really feel that universal sacred joy just by being in this body and feeling our feet. So thank you very much. I love you, and I just think your work is amazing.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you. Love
Well,
back.
Diana, I think you just gave our vote of thanks to Debbie. That was quite a lovely, lovely wrap up. I'd like to let Debbie just share whatever she would like to share with us as a wrap up from her. I'd like to tell you about next week, and then we'll let Malia close with an oldie.
Beautiful.
Debbie?
Silence is golden. Taking a moment in the day to just sit in silence and in gratitude for one's body, and having that conversation of thank you, body. Thank you for taking care of me while I was sleeping. Thank you for waking me up. Just really giving gratitude. Gratitude is fantastic medicine.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, on that note, I'd love to offer an Oli Mahalo, which is a chant of gratitude, and then maybe Renee, one thing before. Okay.
Yeah, one thing before. I wanted to point out the next week, our topic, going from last week being about paradox and what a paradoxical world we're living in, and how we can, yet within that, cultivate a higher carelessness. Next week, we're going to talk about something that we are desperately seeking. I think now more than ever is this concept of the wise leader. The wise leader. Yeah. And I think it will probably be Bob Buss. He's going to probably look at different wise religious leaders, as a matter of fact. Oh, God. Oh, well, maybe not. It's going to be the Dalai Lama. Oh, but it's Mahatma Gandhi. So, yes, I think it will be a wonderful follow-up to this session. Now, Malia.
Okay, mahalo nui. So at the end of this chant, this oli, you're going to hear mahalo, thank you, or gratitude, me ke aloha with love. So this is our gratitude with great love, great aloha to you. Uhola ia kamakaloha la, pu'ai ke aloha la, kukai ia kahaloha la, pawehi mai nā lehua, mai koho oku ia kahalawa ila, mahalo e nā kua. Mahalo e nā kupunala ea, mahalo me ke aloha la, mahalo me ke aloha la. Mahalo with great aloha.
Much. Thank you, Renee, for the invitation.
My extreme pleasure and honor. Thank you so much, Debbie. We love you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Aloha all.
Aloha.
Hello.